Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of the Locker Room Rant. As always, I'm here with my boys, John V. and Nico. Say hello, fellas.
How's it going, bud?
What's happening?
I got news for you guys. We got over, I think, 57 subscribers now.
Yeah.
And we'd love to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed and watched our videos, gave us comments. Those of you that have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below. We truly, truly appreciate it. And we appreciate everyone that has subscribed so far. So big thanks to everyone.
Really appreciate it.
Definitely. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Getting into it. Guys, we're going to start with the NBA playoffs. Hot and heavy out of the gate. I think it's been there's been some crazy upsets and some crazy stories so far. Let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat series. Milwaukee is up 2-0 over the Heat. Game 1 was a thriller. Chris Middleton hit the shot at the end of the game. First, Jimmy Butler hit a big shot to take it into overtime, and then in overtime, as time was ticking down, Chris Middleton hit a game winner that sealed game number 1. And then game 2, the Bucks came out on fire. Not sure if you guys checked that game out or not, but they made 10 3-pointers in the first quarter. It seemed like every shot they took was going in. It was insane. Guys like Pat Connaughton, Brian Forbes, guys that like aren't even like they're big dudes are just draining 3-pointers. And I just started thinking, man, this team's going to be hard to beat if they keep getting production out of these no-namers. They're going to be very hard to beat. Do you think that series is in the bag already, or do you think Miami has what it takes to kind of battle back from a 2-0 deficit against that stacked Milwaukee Bucks team? We'll start with John.
I don't think so, man. I think they have their foot on the gas and they're not taking it off, man. And this is everything I hoped for. I wanted this. This was one of my predictions. I really hope that Giannis gets his redemption. Middleton's awesome. I mean, I know that they said that he wasn't enough, but they're proving that they want this badly, and I believe their foot is on the gas. Yeah, definitely. I don't see this coming. I don't see them coming back.
Nick?
It's pretty much going exactly how I thought it would go. I thought the Bucks would beat the Heat pretty handily. I think, like I said, I think the Bucks just got better over the past year, and I don't think the Heat did. So, and it's not like the Heat blew them out last year. It was a pretty close contest, and I just feel like the Bucks are just going to take it. It possible sweep, maybe the Heat win one, but I think the Bucks are they're just too good.
So in game 1, Giannis was taking free throws, which he was miserable at. But it was really bad game 1, especially down the stretch. They were like fouling him on purpose, and it got ugly. At one point during his foul shots, he got called. And tell me if you guys have seen this before in an NBA basketball game. He got called for a 10-second violation for not shooting his free throws fast.
I don't remember ever seeing that. So
Me either.
The two-time league MVP is getting called for a 10-second free throw violation. I think that was kind of petty, but I guess the story came out. The referees have given them had like walked up to him numerous times, given him warnings like, "Hey, shoot this thing faster, man. We're going to call you for this." Yeah. And I guess he called their bluff. And it was the first time I've ever seen that, which was in an NBA playoff game by a 2-time MVP, which I thought was crazy.
Listen, Giannis is – there's no doubt he's a great player. No doubt he's incredibly skilled. But there also isn't any doubt that he does have a weakness, and his weakness is free throws. He's not a great three-point shooter. You can hit him, but his weakness is free throws. He's terrible at them. and I don't foresee it getting any better.
All I know is that if the Greek Freak played Goya, we would have been hacking the shit out of him. So next series is the 76ers and the Wizards. 76ers are up 1-0. Tobias Harris went crazy in that game. Russell Westbrook did not get a triple-double, which I thought was wonderful to see. And he was being guarded most of the game by Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons being a big physical guard, being able to match up with Russell Westbrook, I think it was a hard matchup for Westbrook, and I think the 76ers really have the edge on this one. I know they're up 1-0. Joel Embiid did not have that great of a game. Ben Simmons, I think it was a crazy stat line. I think 6 points, 15 assists, 15 rebounds, 6 points coming from that guy. He cannot score, but damn, he could do everything else. Where do you see that series going, John?
I don't know, man. It's a toss-up at this point. It's too early to tell, I think. Honestly, it's too soon to tell. I have really very little input yet. I got to see a little bit more.
Nick?
It's, the Sixers are going to win just because the Wizards are not that good. But there's something about the Sixers that I just, you look at their team and you think on paper it's a really good team. But something about them I just don't like, and I don't think they have a prayer of getting to the finals. There's no way they'll beat the Nets.
I think they will get to the finals. And I think Joel Embiid will take them to the finals.
There is no team that relies more on their star that has a possibility of winning this thing than the Sixers do with Joel Embiid. That being said, Tobias Harris, the fact that he goes off every once in a while really annoys me because he shouldn't. Tobias Harris shouldn't go off. He's not that good. He should not be having that much of a role in your offense. Tobias Harris sucks.
No, he does not.
Tobias Harris does not suck.
Tobias Harris.
You're criticizing
Harris freaking blows.
Oh God, dude. Dude, the fact that you criticize a team for relying on their star, I want you to dial that back. Think about what you just said. The fact that a team relies on their star, dude, teams rely on their stars because the stars are a star for the reason, bro.
The Sixers, if Embiid isn't putting up crazy numbers, they usually don't win. And the reason why Embiid doesn't put up a lot of numbers a lot of the times is because Tobias Harris is freaking hogging the damn ball.
Nick, does your bias against Tobias does that leak into fantasy basketball at all?
I've hated Tobias Harris for a long time.
Very petty. You're petty. You're petty, Nick.
I feel like this leaks into fantasy, and because of who, the name that we shall not name, has Tobias Harris on his team, and I feel like that's fueling your hatred towards Tobias Harris.
I'm not gonna lie. It fuels it a little bit, but my critique actually does stand through it.
Tobias Harris is an awesome basketball player.
My hatred of Tobias Harris is because of that. But I do actually believe what I said. Tobias Harris shouldn't be. He should be the third option on that team. The third option, the clear third option.
Why?
Because
he is the third option.
What are his stats? And tell me what warrants the third option. Because now stars are overrated because teams rely on their stars. I mean, you sound like a clown when you say that. I can't even believe it.
If Tobias Harris is shooting the ball 15 times a game,
put your stars on the bench, Tony. Put your stars on the bench. They shouldn't be in there. Don't even start.
That being said, this team relies on Joel Embiid through and through. If he doesn't play well, they're not going to win. And I just don't think that a team like the Nets they're going to be able to match up against. That's it.
Okay. Well, you have to play the Nets physically because you're not going to outshoot them. You're not going to be. You have to play them physically. The problem with Embiid is Yeah. Nick, the fact that
I hate him. I hate him so much.
dude, you know what, Tony? What are? Can you bring up Tobias Harris stats, please, and let me see what warrants this hatred, because I don't know them offhand. But Nick, you're pissing me off, and I'm going to tell you something. Joel Embiid probably won't stay healthy enough to get through this, because he always manages to shit the bed, just like your boy Dame Lillard. I think Dame Lillard had over 40 points, and they got blown out because, again, stars don't matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, because he stopped. He only
your Trailblazers rely on, they play through Dame Lillard, and he still doesn't deliver the victory.
So Tobias Harris,
the ball 20 times a game, they lose.
This year, Tobias Harris
offenses run through your star players.
So this year, Tobias Harris averaged 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. For a third option,
That's ridiculous.
He's trying to play like a second option. He shouldn't be.
Oh, so try less. Try not to score points.
We got to move on. I can't take this kid.
Dude, you're ridiculous. I can't. I got to drink.
Suns, Lakers. Suns have a 1-0 lead. They play later tonight. Tell you what, the Suns look sweet. Lakers.
I told you.
Like
I told
trash.
you. I picked those guys. I love them.
You picked the Suns, John.
I did. I actually picked the Suns for everything.
Yeah,
straight through.
I actually forget who I even picked this time. I picked the Lakers or the Suns
for in this matchup.
Yeah.
We didn't go over this matchup because it wasn't set in stone yet prior to the last video.
We didn't. We did not cover it. You're actually right. I still made reference to the Suns, though.
Yeah, John, you picked the Suns to win it all.
I got to tell you something. The way that LeBron played in that matchup, that fall, which led to an all-out goddamn disaster. I mean, holy shit. I'm not going to count the Lakers out just yet, but the Suns look so good, dude. And to be honest with you, Devin Booker, arguably one of the best in the league. He has been playing like a star, one of those that you don't really like, Nick. He's been playing like a stud since he got into the league, man. And the guy is completely underrated. And I would say he's probably one of the most underrated players in the league currently, and has been.
I think he's rated just right.
I think Anthony Davis, if you guys watch this game, he played like a bum. DeAndre Ayton, which is no Joel Embiid, he's no all-star. He's still a young guy coming up, but he took Anthony Davis to school in that first game. I expect Anthony Davis to come out tonight and just break dreams. I think he's going to come out on fire tonight. They're going to make it a point to get him the ball just because of how bad he played in game one. But I'll tell you what, they started to look – they're looking like an average team these days. And I don't think they got championship written on them as of yet. I know LeBron's still getting acclimated back from his injury, but John's Suns are looking good so far. Portland,
dude, they're just blowing them out in stats, dude. The Lakers are booty, dude. 17 for 28 free throws last matchup, which so they won by 9, but there was a lot going on in that game. The Suns were 10 for 12, shooting 83%. I really like the Suns in the series. I truly believe that Chris Paul was the addition that they needed, because Ayton and Booker couldn't do it alone. The addition of Chris Paul has hands down motivated them. Now, is he going to be okay? Is he? Yeah. What's his status right now? He's good.
He said, "I will be playing game 2."
All right, cool. Cool.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this, though. So last year, of course, we know I'm a Trailblazers fan, and my Trailblazers played the Lakers, and they whooped the shit out of them in the first game. And everyone was saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a sweep, the Blazers year." And of course, the Lakers literally manhandled them the rest of the series. So you can never really know what you're getting. They still have LeBron. They still have Davis. That's still a pretty potent duo. So you can't count them out. And I've heard a lot of things like, oh, LeBron uses a lot of times he uses the first game as like a way to feel out how they're going to play him. If that's the case, it very well could be the case, and it could make me hate LeBron even more.
I mean, dude, have you looked at game 2 of many series? If you beat LeBron game 1, huh?
Just play basketball, LeBron. Let's feel people out game 1.
Dude, you are so goddamn. Oh God, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Let's move on to his Portland Trailblazers versus the Denver Nuggets. Portland came out, slapped Denver in the face in game 1. Denver came back out and put a whooping on Portland. I don't know where the hell to go in this series. They've been 2 blowouts, both in opposite directions. I think Denver figured something out last night against Damian Lillard with how they were playing him on defense. They put Aaron Gordon, big physical guy, on Damian Lillard, and it ended up shutting him down towards the end of the game. Now, I said shut him down, but he still ended with like 42 points and I think 10 assists. But towards the end of the game, Aaron Gordon said, "Let me take this guy." He took him and did a reasonable job on him. Denver ended up blowing them out, and I think you're going to see a lot of that in game 3. Nick, defend your Portland Trailblazers.
Well, I mean, it's the same old song and dance. Listen, Damian Lillard can take Aaron Gordon every single time down the court. He can take Aaron Gordon. He just refuses not to. Sometimes he just refuses to take the bull by the horns, and he defers the freaking. What can you say? I didn't think his name. I'm so pissed about it. This defers to McCollum way too much. Okay, he needs to dominate. Take him and bury him.
You know, Nick, he tried and he was shut down.
Bury them.
Yeah, you're too much, buddy. Do you like Portland coming out of this, Nick?
But the thing, I do like Portland coming out of it, and I think it's going to go the same way the series went 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was a very close series, and Portland came out on top. I just don't think Denver has what it takes to win in most playoff series. That's the thing. I mean, Jokic is awesome, yes, but he's awesome in a weird way. He's not the type of guy that usually like just buries you with points. He's a very all-around player. And I know I'm not a huge fan of the triple doubles, but I am the way he gets them.
I think he had 38. I think he had 38 yesterday, so he can bury you with points.
He gets them
too.
Because he's good. He's good. He's an
all
all-around player. So you don't like guys because they're all around. They play defense. They score. They get buckets, bro. And you just I don't like the way he does it. I think he plays like weird. I think he Nick. You know what? Look, I want you to get up out of your chair, take a few steps back, and face plant for us. Just face plant for us.
Get up out of my chair, take a few steps back.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right there.
Okay.
We had a first shot of Nick's camos here at on the Locker Room Rant. Just for those of you that aren't familiar with Nick, he wears those every day of his life.
He also has had them since he graduated high school.
And I'm pretty sure if you were to show his socks right now, they would be dirty. So next series is the Nets and the Boston Celtics. Nets are up 1-0. I'm assuming it's about to be 2-0. They're up by about 23 in the third quarter. I think Joe Harris, last I checked, had 22 points in the first half. Like if they're getting 22 points from Joe Harris in one half of basketball, how are you going to beat these guys?
You can't.
And that's their role players are good too. I mean, you got to think Blake Griffin. Say what you want about Blake Griffin, but it's still Blake Griffin. I mean, he could still do some things on the basketball court.
Yes.
Jeff Green is a great role player. Bruce Brown, Joe Harris. I mean, they got guys surrounding those three. It's not just those three. Are those guys? First of all, is this series done?
Yes.
Most certainly. I can't foresee Boston. They're struggling. Jason Tatum, I don't know how many points he has tonight, but if Kemba's going to give you less than 10, I mean, that last matchup, Kemba was trash, irrelevant. You need your star players to put up 20 points apiece if you want to compete. The bench alone, the Nets bench. Listen, I'm having a hard time. Look, when Kevin Durant flopped on the floor the way he did, I laughed so hard because to me, I hate Kevin Durant. So I can't stand him. I cannot stand him at all. I think he's a whiny little bitch. But when he hit the floor the way he did, it was hysterical for me. I thought it was hilarious. Unfortunately, it was not enough to take him out of the game.
Yeah, when Kyrie and Durant joined forces, that was taking two of my top three most hated players in the NBA, the third being Westbrook, and putting them on the same team together. And I actually liked James Harden at Houston. And when I heard he was going to the Nets, I was so devastated. He didn't need to do that. And he's joining forces with the three most hated players in the league. I was actually disappointed in James Harden going over there. If you took James Harden and you replace him with Russell Westbrook, it would be my worst nightmare. Who do you think out of the big three on the Nets, who do you think out of those three have the most to prove? Like, what I mean by that, like, who needs a championship more out of those three? Is it
definitely
Kyrie?
There's no doubt about it.
I mean,
Kyrie has proven to be toxic outside of an environment that he can't. Like Kyrie couldn't be the guy in Boston. He was just vile. I mean, toxic. Just like if there was a way to prove to people that you cannot be a leader. See, Kyrie can't lead. You see, that nucleus in Brooklyn is so they're so good that no one has to bear the weight. It can be evenly distributed across the board. But if there's one guy out of the big three that needs a championship, it's James Harden, without a doubt. That guy is so thirsty and hungry for a fucking championship that he had to join with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. But the thing about it is that I can't see Durant staying healthy enough to get it. I mean, I think he'll contribute the majority of the way, but somewhere along the way, this dude manages to get fucked up. And he just showed you look like a fish out of water in that one play, dude.
Yeah, you texted me. You were like, if Kevin Love went down like that, he'd be out for 4 to 6 months.
Fuck that. We'd be planning a funeral. Are you kidding me? Kevin Love falling like Kevin Durant? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, dude. He would be in a full body cast, just hung up somewhere, dude. We would just see Kevin. Oh my God, dude. Kevin Love, that fall right there. Fuck it. That's a funeral.
Bickerstaff has a plan for that, though.
Bickerstaff.
So Nick, what
Trash.
do you think? Whose legacy is most on the line with this? I mean, you got to think Kyrie and Durant started this. James Harden came in after. Do you still think Harden has the biggest legacy riding on this, or do you think Durant and Kyrie?
Well, so here's the thing. You say Durant and Irving started this, but they weren't actually like killing it. They weren't actually killing it. They started killing it after Harden came there. That being said, if you're asking who needs the championship more, I don't really think anyone needs a championship. But if you're asking that question, I would say Harden because the other two have championships. So
I guess I don't know what I'm asking. Maybe I was just asking out of KD and Kyrie, who needs this more out of those two?
Oh, KD. And can I tell you why?
Yeah.
I believe that the championship that KD got, does he have two with the Warriors?
yes,
Right. So the criticism that he took joining forces with them in Golden State, I believe that he needs this in Brooklyn, because he did not like the criticism. He cannot take criticism, so that really fucked with him. That got him right here. That got him badly. That turned him inside out. All that talk, the media, did he take that? Did he take the easy way out to join a team that was stacked to begin with? Yeah, absolutely.
if you're going to discredit his championship,
Here we go with the LeBron and the Heat.
Discredit every championship LeBron James has ever won.
Okay, but LeBron James still did it. Look, Nick, I have told you
Joined up with
time.
the greatest players in the league.
I don't give a shit. I hate when you do this, because I told you that in Cleveland they just used him like a dog. They did not give him talent. They gave him washed up talent. Shaq, what the fuck was Shaq going to do for you?
It still doesn't discount the fact that he co-inspired with two other players a couple of years before his contract was up to go on the same team together.
Well, the Cavs were not capable of delivering. Front office could not give. We could not surround him with talent.
Then if he just made himself a free agent and went to whatever team he wanted, that's fine. But he didn't have to.
Durant was surrounded by talent in Oklahoma City. They weren't bums.
Okay, they were also young at the time.
I don't care. They weren't bums. The Cavs were bums, dude. They were trash.
Okay, after Harden
and
left,
LeBron had to play 100 minutes. I mean, the dude was getting used like a dog, dude. I don't care how you cut it. Like,
doesn't discount the fact that when he won championships, he won them on stacked teams that he built himself with other star players.
Okay, I mean, I'm not.
Even when he went back to the Cavs, because they had Kyrie Irving and they were about to get Kevin Love.
Okay,
he made that happen.
But those guys were hurt.
The reason LeBron's getting hurt on your team right now is because LeBron got him on the Cavs. LeBron said, "I want Kevin Love."
Okay. Well, we were good, and we won a championship.
No one's saying that you guys weren't good, but he stacked his team just like Kevin Durant did, and you're criticizing him for it.
I'm not the only one that criticized him for it.
What?
And I just think that
LeBron bootlickers criticize him for the same thing, just like you do. That doesn't make it any less.
Yeah, but I believe that LeBron deserved it. I believe that LeBron deserved the pass. Shit. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I disagree with you, because I believe he deserved the pass because the Cavs were garbage and they did not deliver talent. They did not surround him with talent.
Bottom line, you criticize Durant, you better criticize LeBron. If you don't criticize LeBron, then don't criticize Durant for doing it.
No, I criticize Durant because he was
worse. But LeBron's the godfather of that.
I mean, you know what, Nick?
He's the James Brown of basketball.
Well, you know what? He took an opportunity. Why should somebody Why?
Living in America.
Cleveland sports.
Keep on seeing.
All right. Okay. Listen, Cleveland sports have a habit of taking players and running their careers into the fucking ground. Okay. And I don't think that anyone should stand by and let some of the best years go down the fucking toilet because the ownership is too fucking cheap to surround you with talent to compete for a championship. So he gave it a go. They gave him garbage.
Durant,
he bounced.
They did.
He deserved to get what he deserved. The fact that Kevin Durant couldn't make it happen in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City let James Harden go. They drafted James Harden. They drafted all those guys. They let him walk. He ended up being an MVP caliber player. They never got him good talent after that. All they had was Westbrook, who Westbrook's kind of hard to play with. Okay? So don't say Oklahoma City surrounded him with great talent. He had James Harden for about 2 years.
Not great talent.
Okay. LeBron had
They went to a championship.
Yeah,
Who?
they went to a championship.
Oklahoma City?
No, LeBron's Cavs went to a championship.
So did OKC.
Okay.
Yeah, but they got smoked, no?
OKC got smoked by the Heat.
Yeah.
OKC got smoked. The Cavs got smoked by the Lakers.
No, they got smoked by the Spurs, but that's neither here nor there, Nick.
Okay. Either way.
I fucking hate
argument.
KD. I don't care. I don't like KD. I don't give a shit. He can kiss my ass. This matters. He needs to. He went to Brooklyn, and Kyrie needs KD as much as KD needs Kyrie because both are fucked up.
If Kevin Durant wanted to, he could. If Kevin Durant wanted to, he could flick John off with both fingers that had rings on them.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
Okay. Let's move on to the Grizzlies and Jazz. Grizzlies take game 1 over the Jazz. And the story behind this one, not so much the Grizzlies winning. I think the Jazz will be just fine in that series. But the big thing that came out of this was with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell got cleared to play in this game by the trainers, by his personal trainer, team trainers. He got signed off to play. He practiced 3 days leading up to the game. Game time comes, and he's a late scratch after shoot around. So game's about to tip off, and he's a late scratch. The team decided not to play him. After the trainers said he's good to go, he's ready to go, excited to play, and they pull him. They end up losing game 1 to the Memphis Grizzlies. Donovan Mitchell is now really pissed off at the Jazz for pulling him on this.
Good call.
Big story, not really a big story. What do you think on this? I mean, he came out and publicly said how pissed off he was at the Jazz for doing this.
Sure he was. Sure. It makes good. It makes good news, but it's not a big deal. And I believe that they needed to feel it out. No different. Okay. Do you want to risk re-injury in game 1? Or now look at it this way.
Who's to say you can't get re-injury in game 2?
Fuck you, Nick.
I mean, you're clear to play. You're clear to play.
Utah is known for the depth, right? That's what they've been. The depth of that. They have the deepest roster in the playoffs. Does anybody disagree?
I mean, one of them. They got
defense is really good.
Yeah, they got the best team in the Western Conference.
So if you can't win without Donovan Mitchell, there's a problem.
He's one of your best players.
Fuck you. You said stars don't matter. Teams shouldn't rely on stars, right? According to you,
I didn't
your stars. You don't want teams to rely on stars. That's what you said.
I said teams shouldn't rely on stars. Who's not a star. I said teams need to rely on their stars.
Fuck. God. Fuck. God, you pissed me off so bad, dude. If I
John.
could teleport right now, I would come in, choke you out with one of those fucking pennants, and then come back to my chair.
How far do
I
you?
should be able to beat you up on camera and teleport back to my chair when you piss me off.
How far do you live from? How far of a drive is it from your house to Nick's?
Fast, dude. I could do it fast enough that it would be worth it. It doesn't matter. Within 6 minutes, I could choke him out and come back.
I'll see.
Do it. Do it. It would be worth it.
There's a good story behind that.
Look, Tony, this is the way I see it. It's not
Nick,
a big deal to me that
what are you
Donovan
drinking?
Mitchell.
John, first of all, what are you drinking, John?
Drink a champion.
I'm drinking bourbon.
I'm
Gentleman
drinking,
Jack.
I'm drinking some bourbon. Nick, what do you got there?
Squirt.
Children's Squirt.
Yep. looks like a can from a 12-pack from '86.
Very refreshing. Perfect on a hot summer day.
Oh, Jesus.
Tony,
Nick,
I don't
remember
think it's a big deal.
Nick, remember a few episodes ago where you thought Donovan Mitchell played for the Pacers?
Yeah, for some reason I was seeing yellow and I got my wires got crossed.
Your wires have never been straight, buddy.
If you remember correctly, I picked the Pacers because they did have Mitchell, and then once I realized they didn't, no Pacers. And I was right because the Wizards won.
Your fucking wires are frayed, buddy. And yeah. Choke on the tab, will you?
All right, Atlanta Hawks take game 1 over the Knicks. They lead 1-0. Something or nothing. I know the people in New York got to be going crazy. I've heard stories, seen videos and stuff of New York fans going crazy over these Knicks this year. It would be devastating if they lost to the Hawks in the first round of the playoffs.
I mean, I told you it's probably going to happen. Because
No, it's not.
Thibodeau's teams get to the playoffs and then they don't do shit afterwards.
Dude, they won by what? What was the
And
score?
why?
Was
Why
it a
is that,
bucket,
Nick?
Tony?
Why is that, Nick?
Because Thibodeau runs his players into the ground throughout the regular season, and then when it comes to the playoffs, his team's just not. Teams playoff games and regular season games are completely different stories. Okay.
I hate you so much. A 2-point difference, and you're sitting here talking shit like they got blown out by 30.
The Knicks
It was a bucket. It was 2 point, dude. 2 points, 107 to 105. Dude, stop talking shit on Thibodeau. He's a good coach. He puts together a team because he doesn't have to fucking worry about show me what you got. He knows what they're capable of. He built a team that he's familiar with player skill sets. They can complement one another in certain ways, and he knows it. Why should he rely on a bunch of bums to show me now what can you do for me? No, I know what you can do. I know what you can do. I know what you can do, and I know what you can do.
So in the regular season,
the Hawks won by 2, Nick. Get over it. That was nothing. New York's going to come back and win by at least 15 next game.
So in the regular season, what ends up happening is coaches usually don't like to run their players into the ground, and they know it's an 81. It's in I forget how many games. 81 games. It's an over 80 game season.
Normally 82.
82. It's an 82 game season. So what they're going to do is they're actually going to give their players a little bit of rest, see what they have with their other players, and go on by that. And then when they get into the playoffs, if they do happen to get in the playoffs, then they shrink their rotation down and they play less players. What Thibodeau does is he just says, screw that. I'm just going to have that totally compressed rotation from rip. And then when we get in the playoffs, we're just going to use that same rotation. Well, you know what? Now you're playing against a little higher competition now.
Tony.
I normally think you're batshit crazy. On this one, however, I've watched a lot of Knicks games this year. Don't point at your head like that. Don't do that.
Point us. Show us.
Like Bobby Heenan.
But to be honest, I kind of sort of in a fucked up way agree with you. I watched their games and they really have had like the same damn rotation all year long.
All year long.
With the addition of Rose halfway through the year. But besides that, they really have played Julius Randle nonstop all year long.
40 minutes a game minimum.
So what? He's young.
RJ Barrett.
Everybody else got run into the fucking ground, and you didn't have any problem with it when they were young. LeBron got run into the fucking ground. Look at your boy Lillard. They run him into the ground.
Not really.
Why not?
Julius Randle has more minutes played than Damian Lillard.
Stat check.
I disagree, but whatever. Look, the Knicks have won.
What Google has to say about this.
I got Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose, Tony. Who else has played for Thibodeau in Chicago?
I don't know.
Because Nick acts like they just he recruited every goddamn player from the Chicago Bulls roster.
I don't know.
Nick, what are you doing?
Looking at Google.
With what? Your Game Boy?
36 minutes. Oh, no, that was
this is according to Google. Julius Randle has played the most minutes this season with 2,495 minutes on the court.
36 minutes last game.
Okay, that's a lot. I mean, you're acting like that's like it's less than what he usually plays. It's still a shit ton.
He was probably in foul trouble in the first quarter.
Yeah, they probably took him out because they were trying to save him for the end.
Lillard played 40 minutes last game.
Okay, because his team was down, they needed him to win. This is the playoffs. You can play 40 minutes in the playoffs. This is do or die. You don't win, you go home. In the regular season, it's a little different.
All right.
The last series we need to get to is the Mavericks and the Clippers. Mavs have a 1-0 lead. Luka with a
Rizzo agrees with you guys. Give the man some
triple-double.
recognition, man.
Dan, I don't know if he's live right now or not, but yeah, Dano knows.
Can you click the comment? Yep.
I didn't know that.
So he agrees with Nick. Nick, you got a guy to. Oh boy, yeah. Take out the 12-pack.
What's he
Take out
have
the
now?
12-pack. Squirt. That's his second squirt. Blow the cobwebs off that old ass can.
What do you see? I thought you were gonna bust out a Capri Sun next.
I got some.
It's like Pee Wee's Playhouse over there.
Actually, I like Capri Sun. We have a bunch of it here because the kids like it. But
Yeah, there's
I love
children in the house, John. There's children in the house.
he
Okay,
probably stole them from here. He probably took them home.
he's got fucking Pee Wee's Playhouse over there.
He does too.
Celebratory squirt, says Dan. He was so happy that he actually kind of sort of won an argument.
You got
that
something
he
right.
celebrated
Took a whole
with
can
a
out.
squirt.
Oh my god.
The squirt bath. I want to see you give yourself a squirt bath one day.
Please say that. No, we don't need to see that.
As far as the Clippers and the Mavericks, I hate this matchup. I really don't like these teams. I understand Luka's really people love Luka and stuff.
I love Luka, and I think he's
Can't get into
awesome.
the Mavericks and the Clippers. I just can't do it.
I think Luka. I think they beat the Clippers, and I think that Kawhi Leonard is overrated. That dude is goofy. I can't stand him either. He's one of my. I cannot stand that dude.
You hate Kawhi Leonard, man. I think every show you've mentioned that you do.
I
not
don't like Kawhi Leonard.
He
I don't like him.
Leonard. He hates Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant.
And Bickerstaff.
Bickerstaff.
I think I might actually I despise Bickerstaff, maybe more than I despise Kevin Durant. And I have hated Kevin Durant far before he even joined the Warriors. That's not why. I don't like Kevin Durant, the character. I think he's a big bitch and he can't handle criticism. I don't like that.
Big bitch.
Have some fucking nerve. You're a professional. And you can't handle Twitter. You can't handle fans that don't like. He gets in fights with Twitter. He's just a big bitch. But Kawhi is just like one of those a little awkward, little strange around the edges. Doesn't smile much and should fucking smile, but he doesn't because He's goofy. I don't like him either.
Did you ever hear his laugh from the press conference when he went to Toronto?
No, because I didn't even know he could laugh. He's like
you
a
have to
fucking
YouTube
stone.
Yeah, it was really a really awkward
Dick,
laugh.
God.
No, John, he did actually. That was a pretty good impression of how he
He's
laughed.
weird. He's a strange guy. He's a strange guy.
Let me see if I can.
And frankly, if the Mavericks, if they were to sweep the Clippers, all right, if the Clippers don't win one, Kawhi's gone, bro.
He might be. Probably will.
He might be a Portland Trailblazer. But I believe that Dame Lillard leaves Portland and joins the Knicks next season.
I don't see that happening.
Of course you don't.
But we'll see.
So, all right, guys, we got to move on from the NBA. There's a long preseason ahead of us. Hopefully, by this next video, we'll have a little more in depth of what we're really getting into with these playoffs. Might even have some series that end. Next thing I wanted to get to was Julio Jones. He came out this today, I think, and said that, or maybe it was yesterday, said that he wants out. He wants out of Atlanta. Nothing they could say can keep him there now. Stories already broke that they wanted him gone a few weeks ago. Now he's saying when the season ended, he told Atlanta, I want to leave. So whatever happened, but he wants out. They want him out. So I only see one way of this ending, and it's him out of an Atlanta Falcons uniform. Now, so far, and you guys know Vegas, they know everything before we know everything. I'm going to go through the betting odds for teams to land Julio Jones. Number one with the best odds are the Baltimore Ravens. Do you guys see that as a good fit for him or no? John?
Well, I really can't say. No, I'm going to say no. And because I don't know if you guys watched Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, but Shannon Sharp called Julio Jones on the phone on live television and asked him if he wanted to be a Cowboy. And he said no. Publicly, he said no, I don't want to go there. I want to go to a contender. I want to win. All right. Now, the Ravens have shown that they can win, but they can't win when they can't get past the playoffs. So they get knocked out, right? I believe Julio Jones wants to I don't think he wants to go to the AFC. I believe he wants to stay in the NFC. I just don't know that Atlanta would move him within the NFC. So I'm going to say no to Baltimore.
No to Baltimore. Nick?
I'm not going to discount the fact that he might go there, but I discount how effective it would be. I could see them getting him, but I just don't think I don't think the way that they play, and I don't think that the type of quarterback that Lamar Jackson is, I really don't think the cost that it would take to get Julio Jones would really benefit them all that well. Because I don't think they'll be able to utilize Julio Jones for what he needs to be utilized as.
I think also, Tony, real quick, let me hold that thought real quick. I think it also depends on what can Baltimore give up to get him. What capital do they have left? Are they willing to give up that capital in the next few drafts? Do they have a player? Because Atlanta's going to want someone in return. I think the question is what can Baltimore offer up to Atlanta to make that deal possible?
I think it's going to take a first round pick to get Julio.
No way.
I think they said
32 years old, dude.
I think they said it was an.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think they said if it was an NFC team, it would take a first-round pick, and if it was an AFC team, it would take a second-round pick.
We'll see.
Okay, that's better than I thought. I figured teams would offer up maybe like let's say if San Francisco were to make an offer for Julio Jones, I believe that we don't have a first or a second to give up. So it would take maybe a Deebo Samuel and a third round pick.
Hell no.
I don't know. I don't even know if they would want a receiver back. I'm not really sure what that looks like. But Ravens, I think, Nick, I hate to say it, but man, you said that kind of perfect. I don't think he fits what they're all about. I don't think he fits. I mean, I just don't think he fits that scheme with Lamar Jackson running all around like an idiot. I think you were right on. You know what, buddy? Go grab yourself another squirt. Drink another squirt to that. Number 2 is John's 49ers. Number 2 for Vegas odds, which I think those are pretty good odds, John, that Vegas is giving you your 49ers to get Julio. You think you would help, and would you be pretty excited about that? You would have to be, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I believe that we don't work him like a horse either. I believe he probably wants a lesser role, a lesser workload. We lost Kendrick Bourne to the Patriots. We need to fill the Nick. Dude, you know what? Either the what is it? Is the squirt just so good that you can't handle yourself? Or what do you interject? Say what you have to say. Get it out.
Where it's like basically sopping up all this nonsense that's coming out of your mouth.
What? I mean, we need. So you think that we should use him like a dog? Nick, I don't believe that he needs to take on that role that he carried.
If Julio Jones comes to this team, Julio Jones will be the number 1 receiver. I actually think it would be a good thing for you guys to get him because I actually do think, as opposed to Baltimore, I actually think he fits your team very well.
Okay.
He gives you guys something that you don't. He gives you guys something that you don't have. He's still a premier receiver in the league. He's not replacing Kendrick Bourne. He's not replacing Kendrick Bourne.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let me explain something.
Wasn't really that good.
Okay. You know what though, Nick? The thing is, I understand you don't know my team, but listen, the Patriots picked him up and paid him a lot of fucking money. So somebody thought he was worth it. Okay. He was a huge third down asset to our passing game.
Yeah,
he was
aren't that important. You should be able to get third down assets all the time.
But in the red zone, he had more catches for touchdowns.
Yeah. Julio Jones will be a tremendous upgrade over that in the red zone.
All right. So let me calm you down for a second because you're not entirely wrong. So let's say San Francisco takes on Julio and makes him makes him wide receiver 1. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that he has to be used and worked as much as they used him in Atlanta. That's my point. I believe he wants to go somewhere where he makes an impact, but he's not the workhorse.
Well, he won't be used as much as he was in Atlanta because in Atlanta they were a passing offense. In San Francisco, they're a predominantly run-heavy offense.
Yeah, but we're trying to establish the passing game.
Exactly. So you establish it by getting Julio Jones, having Julio Jones do what he does on a normal basis. He just doesn't have to do it every single play.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to say. My whole point with anyone that lands Julio, I believe that they're not going to use him like a workhorse. And I believe that in turn will give you a better return on your investment because he has been injured because the fact that they use him so much. So I believe that he would prefer to go to a contender that can utilize his services but not overdo it.
So that being said, I think it would be a great pickup by you guys, but you have to be prepared to pay.
We don't have the capital to give Atlanta, we fucking gave up everything to move up to the 3rd fucking pick.
Well, you guys are going to have to figure it out.
The next few drafts are going to be very, very boring for San Francisco fans because we have nothing.
You're gonna have to
We're
get
not.
creative.
We're going to be. You know what,
John.
Nick? We just don't have the capital to land Julio Jones. I don't believe that we can afford him, and I don't know that. Look, there's nobody that's afraid of our wide receiver core. We're not scary. We have
Kittle.
Kittle's it.
okay. No,
Debo's a really good
Brandon Ayuk is an up and coming
Ayuk's good.
receiver. Brandon Ayuk is an upcoming receiver. Debo Samuel is he's good too. Okay, but we don't have. We could use Julio, but I don't think we can afford him. I'm sorry, I don't think so. We're flirting with D.D. Westbrook from Jacksonville.
Sammy Sampler says, "You gotta pay."
You do. He's not wrong.
Oh man, this has been some fiery stuff here.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, Nick, that's a fact, dude. That's a fact. You're right. We have to pay if we want to get Julio, but I just don't think San Francisco has the equity to do it. I don't think we can afford it.
They might not unless they want to get ballsy. But
You said a first or a second, Tony, if he goes within the NFC. We don't have that. I think we have $17 million to spend. If he wants to join Kyle Shanahan again, if he likes the idea of playing for San Francisco and he takes a discount, I still don't see Atlanta making the deal for us. They're not giving him up for nothing.
I forgot about the Shanahan connection there too.
I mean, it's definitely help, but don't think Atlanta's fucking stupid. You know, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, hey, Shanahan over there in San Francisco, Vegas has got them the second best odds to land him. Let's make sure that's not an option because we will ask them for a first round and we don't have that and they know it.
I'll tell you what's an interesting thing about this. I don't really hear too many people talking about it, but I think it makes total sense. The Green Bay Packers.
No.
Green Bay makes perfect sense. I mean, first of all, if they're going to repair anything with Mr. Rodgers, and let's kind of go over. Let's get to Aaron Rodgers now. We're kind of leading into that anyways, but we'll get into Aaron Rodgers and if they want to repair that relationship.
That's a hell of a Band-Aid to put on that wound.
It is. We talked about that, I think, on our very first show, first or second show. But Aaron Rodgers came out, I believe it was today. He was interviewed and came out and said that Jordan Love played no part in him wanting to leave Green Bay and being pissed off at Green Bay. He was just mad at the organization on how they've been handling business.
I believe that. I mean, by Jordan Love, I'm sure he means Jordan Love the person. He is not pissed at Jordan Love, but I think them picking Jordan Love probably pissed him off.
And he was trying to clear the air that was not. He was trying to set the record straight on that show, saying that drafting that didn't bother him when that is a big boat of bullshit. I believe that it pissed him off because his only excuse was that the Green Bay Packers front office has moved away from how did he word it, Tony? Something like look, he has a big problem with the GM Gutekunst. He does not care for him. He believes that that regime is not sticking to the true Green Bay Packer way. And he mentioned some of the Grace Lombardis, just saying things that look, dude, you're upset because they drafted a quarterback. And if they stuck to to the true Green Bay Packer way, they would have committed to you and stayed loyal to you. He was offended, and and he can call it whatever he wants. But really, this whiny little bitch shit that he's doing right now it's bullshit. It worked. They drafted Jordan Love, and you became league MVP. You felt pressure, and you picked your shit up. Let's not beat around the bush.
So a few years back, I was a proud owner of Aaron Rodgers in a fantasy football league. It's a dynasty league. A few years ago, he wasn't that good. He wasn't putting up crazy numbers. He was kind of playing like average. Mm-hmm. I traded him in fantasy. Around that same time, that off season is when they drafted Jordan Love. And I kind of think the Packers were like, oh, well, he's winding his career down. We need his backup. And then last year came, and I don't know what the hell he was doing last year, but it was crazy. It kind of reminds, what's that song? Remember that song? It was like, back then, you didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all on me. Or some shit like that. You remember that song?
Not at all.
No.
It's a good song, but I think I think he's like, you guys didn't want me. You guys had this plan A, and I threw a wrench in that plan by winning the fucking MVP award and putting up one of the best seasons a quarterback's ever seen in this football league. And he just he screwed their plan up. And now I think he knows that. I think he knows his value, and they didn't value him as a person or as a player, I think. And I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but I'm on his side when it comes to this argument. I think they did him wrong, and now they got to live with the consequences.
You believe it, Tony? You believe that it was Jordan Love that upset him?
I think it was a bunch of things. I think it was a number of things, but I don't think it's Jordan. Like you said, Jordan Love, the person,
not the person.
The
he couldn't help that they took him. Yeah,
I told you
that
guys
wasn't on him.
I told you guys 2 shows ago when the Chicago Bears took Justin Fields, they called Andy Dalton and said, "Hey, just to let you know, buddy, we're taking a quarterback." They never, and that's the Bears with Andy Dalton. They don't even know Andy Dalton. He hasn't even played for their team yet. And the Packers didn't do that when they drafted Love. I think that's bullshit. I think he deserves more than what they're showing him. And I would be pissed too. I would be fucking pissed if I was
You're right.
if I was Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? It's coming to me now. He is upset that there was not they were not committed enough to calling him up and be like, "Hey, Aaron, look, you know what? We're thinking about drafting a quarterback this year in the draft. It's nothing personal. Our intentions are not to create quarterback controversy in camp this year. But look, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it lit a fire under his ass. I can't say that it was okay. It was wrong of them not to contact him and involve him because he deserves that. He's been the face of your franchise, and not for nothing, he's kept you relevant. So, and through 2 coach and into a new young coaching regime. So, yes, I think that it was selfish as fuck that he wanted Gutekunst fired. That's bullshit. You're good, but you're not that good. Well, no, I'm sorry. You're good, but you're not that fucking important that we fire a GM over you. Over your if we allow you to dictate the terms of our front office, we failed as an organization as a whole. And that sets a bad precedent for a lot of leaders. That would make the league look weak. You cannot be weak. And right now, I think that he is upset because they have mismanaged draft capital. They have not surrounded him with talent.
Listen,
a lot of disrespect for sure.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's the thing. It's not an employer's job to make sure the employee feels respected. It's an employer's job to make the organization better. I've had my opinion on Aaron Rodgers. It's been stated before. I think he's partially a little bitch about this stuff. It's the general manager's job to put the team on the field for you to win with. Your offense has been good for a long time. Great offensive players get taken very early in the draft. You're picking in the bottom part of the draft more often than not. Your defense is probably the thing that needs the most help. Partially because you're so awesome. Congratulations. You're so awesome that we need to shore up that our offense is good enough, and we need to shore up the back part of our team, which is the defense. So Aaron Rodgers, I think, needs to take a chill pill. That being said, the drafting of Jordan Love was terrible in two regards. First off, I don't think anyone ever thought he was really that good. Like, I don't think anyone thought this guy's for sure going to be it. Okay? They probably could have went elsewhere. On top of that, they traded up to get him. So they used additional draft capital to trade up and get the guy. So I can understand Aaron Rodgers being pissed about that. But that being said, this thing about him being respected is not – you don't have to feel respected.
Certainly you do.
Mercy Health doesn't come up to me and say, Nick, you know what? We're thinking about hiring another nurse. We just wanted to tell you so you don't get mad about it. No, hire a fucking nurse so I can do my job a little better. All right? They don't need to tell you to hire. They don't need to tell you if they're hiring another quarterback.
Hey, not too many.
You should know. You're one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the league. You should know what they're doing. They're trying to draft for the future. They maybe want another quarterback to groom him. That's how you came into the league. They already had Brett Favre. They drafted you in the back half of the draft, in the back half of the first round, because they wanted to plan for the future. That's how you came into the league.
Yeah, there's not too many men in your profession, is there, fucker?
Look, Tony. Nick, I disagree. I think that the way San Francisco contacted Jimmy Garoppolo and let him know, like, look, we're thinking about drafting a quarterback. We want to let you know this, that, and the other. And it was a good transition, and it makes for a healthy quarterback room. Okay. The way that they drafted Jordan Love, you created drama, and that takes away from the growth of Jordan Love, because he deserves to have the support of a veteran, like a Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers, right? So, but you should have contacted. Look, Nick, you're wrong, dude. The reason why Green Bay is freaking out right now is because they did not reach out to Aaron Rodgers and let him know their intentions. Yeah, okay? That's it. Case in point, bro.
The organization.
I think they're freaking out because they saw what Love had last year, and he's just not what they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It was a bad pick.
It was a bad
pick and a bad move to move up to get him. That being said, I have no problem with them planning for the future.
Okay. So say you're right. 38 years old and winning MVP of the league is not a bad deal, bro. Yeah. You're not washed.
Yeah, right. How much time do you really have left?
Look.
Hey, Dan, he might be the Aaron Rodgers of nursing. We don't know that.
I just won the MVP.
Oh, Jesus.
Look, I strongly disagree with you, Nick. I think that even if you knew Jordan Love wasn't that great, even if you saw it during camp, the fact that you didn't know when you decided, you should have contacted Aaron Rodgers. You guys, they should have been on the same page. They were not. They essentially fucked themselves over because he's pissed and he wants out.
Dude, they didn't draft, and I don't think any logical person could think of, they didn't draft Jordan Love with the anticipation that he was going to steal Aaron Rodgers' job. Aaron Rodgers should know better than everyone else. knows better that as long as Aaron Rodgers is producing at an MVP caliber level, that he's going to be the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers.
But why not tell him? Why not tell him that you have like Caleb's saying? Why not tell him that you are just taking precautions and you're setting up the future, dude?
You are an employee of an organization and you go to work. That's it. No one has to tell you. No one has to treat you with kids' gloves.
Are you saying Jordan Love could possibly take Aaron Rodgers' gerb?
If they took his gerb, hurt my good. They better not take his gerb.
They did their job. God, right. These people from the future are taking all the work away from us decent present-day Americans. They take our job.
They better not take his gerb.
Look,
I'd be really surprised if he takes Aaron Rodgers' gerb.
Look, all the organization had to do was they just needed to get on one page. They surprised Aaron Rodgers, bro. He did not see that draft pick coming.
It surprised everyone. It surprised everyone.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's a bad way of doing things. That's bad business. And they fucked themselves and they're freaking out because of it. Let's move on.
John.
I mean, it's just I don't agree with Nick. I just think that they shot themselves in the foot.
All right, real quick, guys, real quick. I know we're not going to touch much on this. I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Phil Mickelson, 50-year-old, oldest man to win a PGA major, won the PGA Championship this past weekend. I thought it was a really cool thing. I'm starting to see a lot of comparisons to him winning this and then Tiger winning the Masters 2 years ago. I really don't see a comparison in it. Tiger was 43, Phil's 50. He's going to go in the record books as the oldest guy to win a major. And it was kind of awesome seeing him out there with all the young guns, especially paired up with Brooks Koepka on Sunday, playing against Brooks. And Brooks is kind of a cocky dude. And old man Phil taking him to town. The crowds, I don't know if you guys saw this at all, but the crowds that were following Phil Mickelson on the last hole was ridiculous looking. It looked like a huge security risk with all those people like literally surrounding him and Brooks Koepka. But I just wanted to give a shout out to old man Phil for winning the PGA Championship. You guys have anything to touch on that or not really?
I always kind of hated Phil Mickelson because he's always talking correct, but I will give that is a tremendous accomplishment at 50. I can't believe he's 50.
I can, because golf is so fucking boring that you age 10 years overnight playing that goddamn sport.
Yeah, everyone says Caleb. I see Caleb said he's nice as hell. He always gives back to his fans. Treats everyone with respect. I really, really like Phil Mickelson, and really happy to see him. Really happy to see him succeed and win that major. I thought it was something really cool. Last topic I want to get to, guys, is biggest draft pick busts ever. And the reason I bring this topic up is Kwame Brown, that was picked in the 2001 NBA draft by Michael Jordan's Wizards at the time. He was in the front office with the Wizards and picked Kwame Brown #1 overall. Came out and had some Twitter wars with Gilbert Arenas, name from the past. And he was saying how, Kwame was a bust. And Kwame was saying, like, it wasn't me, it was the organization. Michael Jordan, didn't develop him properly. And it sparked a debate on who's the actual bust. Is it the organization that has the bust by the pick, or is it the player that's the bust that comes out? Does that make sense? So in the Kwame Brown scenario, would you guys say Kwame Brown was a bust, or would you say the Wizards had a bust pick? Like, do you blame the organization or the player?
It's kind of both, but I mean, all the blame goes on the organization. I mean, Kwame Brown was drafted as I think he was 17 when he was drafted, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I think when he was drafted, he was 17. I mean, you don't know how good that kid's gonna be. It wasn't like he was. It wasn't like he was ready to play on day one. They drafted that kid for potential. I mean, you draft a 17-year-old kid on potential. There's also potential that he might not develop. Now, that being said, he was in the league for like 12 years?
Yeah, but he never really amounted to anything.
I mean, when you draft a kid at 17 and he has 12 years in the NBA, granted, he might not have accounted to any type of like starter LNBA type player, but I mean, he did have a healthy career.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith came out and he 100% was blaming the players, saying it's the players. They put up the stats in college or in high school, whatever the case is, and they build that resume, and these organizations are drafting based upon that resume and the stats that they put up, the numbers that they put up on the combines. I think it's complete bullshit.
How is it not the organization's fault?
I don't know.
It's their job to develop you, no?
Yeah, it's their job. They're drafting you. You're not going to them saying, "Play, you better pick me." They're drafting you.
I think the biggest bullshit was they started blaming. They sparked conversation with like Kijana Carter. Kijana Carter played with the Bengals, and I think he got hurt in a preseason game, like fucked his knee all up, and was never the same. And they're still saying like Kijana Carter was the bust.
Yeah, he had a detrimental knee. He had a detrimental leg injury.
But they're blaming him for the bust.
Like, you can't, in my opinion, injury, if somebody has a catastrophic injury, they're not a bust. That's just a misfortune that happened. Now, like, one of the people that always comes to mind when they talk about draft busts is Courtney Brown. There's an argument to be said if whether he was a bust, because he just kept getting injured. And I feel like when you keep getting injured, you might be a bust. It wasn't one specific leg injury that like took out Courtney Brown.
I will say there are scenarios where the player is to blame. Jamarcus Russell, the piece of shit that got drafted number 1 overall to the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
He literally ate himself out of the league.
Yeah.
I heard a story where his offensive coordinator and head coach he was too lazy to come to practice on Tuesdays, and they had to accommodate him. Everyone else would be at practice, and they accommodated him not coming to practice. What they would do is send him DVDs of everything that they were going to cover in practice. They went through all this trouble making this guy DVDs of what the plays were going to be. Everything was on these DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd come back from practice, and they'd be like, "So, which plays did you like from the DVDs we sent you?" He's like, "All of them." they're like, "No, but what specific ones did you like and not like?" He's like, "I liked them all. I liked them all. Let's do this. I'm ready to rock and roll." Turns out they sent the 1 week that they did it, they sent him blank DVDs with nothing on them.
Yeah, that's my favorite, bro. That's my favorite.
What they started doing is sending players to his house, like, "Hey, we're coming over to watch this practice film that the team made for you." And he was like, "Don't come over here unless you have 18 like double cheeseburgers from Wendy's." It was fucking silly. So they would show up with like 8 bags of Wendy's just for Jamarcus Russell, and he would sit there and just slam Wendy's burgers while they watched game film. Which just a freaking. So in that scenario, I don't blame the organization. I blame the player for just being a piece of shit.
No, but as an organization, you should be able to you should do some background research and be like, is this guy a piece of crap? Because you'll find out if they're a piece of crap.
What about 2013 Cleveland Cavs number 1 overall Anthony Bennett?
Oh, that's the worst.
That I don't remember too many picks worse than that.
That might be the worst. Michael
In all of sports?
Really bad.
In all of sports,
I don't know. Maybe in basketball it could be, but I mean in football I could think of another one.
I mean, Michael Candy was pretty bad too. But at least he actually had like some level of success in the NBA.
How about 2003? The Detroit Pistons take Darko Milicic with pick number 2.
But like
LeBron goes 1, Milicic goes number 2. Then you got Carmelo, Bosch, and Wade.
That was bad because of who they passed up overall. But that being said, like Milicic at least had like some level of success. I don't think Anthony Bennett had any level of success.
Oh, I don't even remember him. I don't even remember the guy.
Like, I think he played for like half a season. They were like, "No, we're not doing it anymore." They're like, "Not happening." Like Darko at least like played like 4 or 5 seasons. He was like center.
I'm gonna have to pull that draft up to see who was even part of that draft.
Bennett
I think it was a terrible draft.
It wasn't a good draft, but I think that was the Depot draft, wasn't it? I think Greek Freak was in that as well, wasn't he?
Oh God, can you imagine?
What year was it?
2013. Anthony Bennett 1, Victor Oladipo 2, Otto Porter Jr., Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, Ben McLemore. This was a dog shit draft.
Yeah, it's dog shit, but all those guys you just named way better.
Far better. I agree.
Until number 15, Giannis the Greek Freak. Man, could you imagine? You imagine what those Cavs would have looked like?
I don't want to think about it.
What about Greg Oden? Do you guys consider him a bust or injury prone? Just injuries got to him.
I think just injuries got to him because Greg Oden was actually like really, really good when he played. He was starting caliber center at very least.
What do you guys think about Maurice Claret? I know he was drafted by the Broncos in like the 3rd round or whatever, but forget the draft and all that stuff. But do you guys remember? Did you guys attend any of his games back in high school?
Yeah.
I think I went to one with you, Nick. Mm-hmm. And we sat down and it was a playoff game. I forget who they were playing. And they got the ball in like the 20-yard line. There was a kickoff and they got the ball. It was a touchback, got the ball in the 20-yard line. They would hand it to him and he would run 80 yards for a touchdown. They would get the ball again on the 20-yard line. They would hand it to him and he'd run 80 yards for a touchdown. I think this happened 4 times in a row. We just got up and left.
He was awesome in high school. He was awesome in college too. Just wasted.
Oh man. It's like it's like I wanted that guy to succeed so much, and to see him like really go the opposite direction was sad to watch, because he was like a hometown guy from our home of Warren, Ohio. It was just sad to watch that. But would that be considered a bust though?
I mean, it's not a draft bust.
It's considered being fucking stupid and wasting your opportunity.
It's just like a sad cautionary tale of wasting talent.
It's not even sad. It's stupid. There's nothing sad is when illness or something like that gets in the way. That's sad. Stupid is that. That's the definition of stupid and pissing it all away.
Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing fucking sad about it. That's just a fucking shame.
He was awesome, though. Any other busts that you guys can think of?
I mean, obviously,
Trent Richardson.
Trent Richardson.
Trent Richardson's big.
Honestly,
that's quite. I actually believe that's the first overall bust in NFL history.
I remember when they drafted Richardson. It was one of the first times the Browns did exactly what I wanted them to do in drafting Richardson. And I thought there was no way this guy could be bad. There's no way this guy's going to be any less than awesome. And
then Indy turns around and gives Cleveland a first-round pick in less than 3 seasons for him, right? Was it like
history?
So two teams
that was an insane trade.
Two teams spend 2 first-round picks to get a dude in less than 3 seasons, and he's trash.
Like, I remember his first run, too. Like, his first run was like an 8-yard run. A guy went to tackle him, and his helmet flew off. And I was like, the guy who tried to tackle Trent Richardson. And I was like, this guy's going to be awesome. And then he just sucked.
And he sucked. What about Ryan Leaf? Ryan Leaf is always going to go down as one of the biggest busts of all time. It's funny because he started making his way back. He was real bad in the drugs, in and out of prison. He went to after like 12 years of not even hearing this guy's name except for when they talk about busts every couple times a year. I saw him on ESPN and I'm like, wow, he really changed his life around. They did a special on him. I watched his special and how he's doing awesome. Then I started seeing him on ESPN like every once in a while. And then like out of nowhere at the bottom ticker pops up and it's like Ryan Leaf back in prison for drugs again. And I'm like, damn, this guy can't get it right. And
I think that kid, Anthony Smith, that he's mentioning was a kid out of Hubbard. He's I think he went to school in Hubbard. Played for the Steelers.
I don't remember that guy.
I think he played for 6 years though. I mean, he was a safety.
Yeah, I remember him. He was fine.
You don't think he was a bust?
Do I think he was a bust? Anthony Smith? No. I think he was never supposed to be like a great player, and he played in the NFL for numerous years. It's like what he was supposed to do. But
Anthony Bennett was a bust.
Anthony Bennett was one of the biggest busts in the history of sports.
Who was that guy that I drafted, Nick, in our fantasy league? I think he was the number 2 overall pick. Derek Williams.
Yeah.
That guy sucked. How about your boy from Syracuse that I drafted? You're like, oh, you should take him, Tony. He's going to be awesome. Flynn.
Wesley Johnson?
No. I think I took him too. But this guy's last name was Flynn or some shit.
Johnny Flynn?
Johnny Flynn?
Yeah, but
I don't know.
All those guys were talking about multiple years in the league, playing during those years. They may not have been starters, but they were at least backups that got like decent minutes.
And I don't think they were number 1 picks.
No.
Anthony Bennett was number 1, and I never even heard of him. Like I never even like. No, I don't even remember seeing him play one game. I don't remember seeing him play one game.
I remember hearing of him, and he was good in college. But when they picked him with the number 1 pick, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Really, this guy? Maybe they see something. Maybe they know more than I do."
What college was he from?
UNLV.
I don't know.
Look, I think Cleveland takes the cake for busts in the NFL.
Sounds like they take it in the NBA too.
They do. I mean, look, garbage.
No, Cleveland.
Manziel was trash. Trent Richardson was trash. Couch was trash.
I don't think Couch was trash. I think Couch got a bad rap.
Trash.
I think probably the most distressing pick that the Browns ever made for me was when they picked Brandon Weeden. I remember because that was the same year as the Richardson draft, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted David DeCastro so freaking bad, and there was talk that the Browns were going to take him, and I was like, and I remember they traded up, and I was like, oh, they're taking DeCastro, baby, they're taking DeCastro, and then they fucking took Brandon Weeden, And then to top it all off, Pittsburgh took DeCastro. And DeCastro has been like a perennial Pro Bowl ever since.
Double screwed. Johnny, any final thoughts for you, buddy?
Yeah, I guess. Look, hats off to Phil Mickelson. Good for you, buddy. Golf, I just can't get into, man. Anything in your 50s, if you can win, good for you. As far as Julio Jones, I'd love to see him a Niner, but I just don't think we can swing it. And hats off to the channel, man. We gained a few subscribers. Appreciate Dan and Caleb for interacting with us today. That was awesome. Appreciate you guys taking the time out, spending time with us. I mean, I don't know, Tony. This is good. I mean, we had an hour and a half about
Nothing.
all the boring shit that the offseason has to offer.
Yeah.
The the NBA playoffs are it's still early, so I mean, there's really nothing truly exciting yet. I wouldn't say anything was really I don't know if there was really an upset. Maybe the Lakers Suns was I don't know. There's really I'm going to take that back. There's really no upsets yet. It's still too soon, and let's just pay attention to the NBA playoffs, guys, because that's really where the chat's at.
Nick, how about you, buddy?
In last episode, John gave me a lot of grief for my thoughts on bump. So allow me to read you what Google has to say about sack bumps.
Because if Google says it,
2002, stop. You have to in 2019, there were 0.16 sack bunts per team game, the lowest number on record, breaking the previous low set in 2018, which broke the previous low set in 2017. You get the point. Google actually says, you get the point. In 1998, the first year of the 30-team era, there were 1,705 sack bunts. Last season, there were just 776. Tony, will you turn the crank for me?
Reluctantly, but here we go.
dude, let me tell you something, Nick. You said that teams don't bunt. That's what you said.
I never said that they outlawed bunting and that they don't bunt. I just said that they do it much.
I didn't say that. I never claimed.
Much less frequently.
I never claimed that you said they outlawed bunts. You said teams don't bunt.
Crank turn, Tony.
No more crank.
Come on, turn the crank.
Turn the crank really. The slower you turn the crank, the more time you give me to get to his house, kick the fucking door in, and beat his ass on YouTube. Okay.
No more cranks, Nick. Go grab yourself a squirt. You did good tonight, buddy.
Tony, listen, dude. I listen. I've watched baseball. Teams bunt the fucking ball. Okay, they bunt the ball. You said teams don't bunt. Teams bunt. Might be one game, maybe two, but they fucking bunt.
There are teams play 152 games?
I think it's 162.
162 games. Every team plays that. Okay. And there are how many teams in the league?
30? I don't know.
30? Yeah, 30. So about 15 teams at 152 games. I'm not even going to do that math. There is
you get the point.
Minute amount of bunts in the league.
You get the point, says Google.
Says Google. I've never seen Google say, you get the point.
You know what pisses me off is that you don't even watch baseball, dude. You just Google shit because
I do watch baseball.
You don't watch baseball.
I do watch baseball.
You don't.
I know
you don't.
The history of baseball.
You don't have any fucking time to. You're the fucking You're the cat's ass. You're the Aaron Rodgers of nurses. You don't have time to watch baseball, you jackass. You are working and sleeping. That's the story of your fucking life. You don't watch baseball. Kiss my ass.
When I get a chance to, I watch baseball, and I'm a historian of baseball.
Fucking dude, Dan wants you to shower and squirt, choke on squirt, drown yourself in a squirt shower, and kiss my ass because I promise you. I can't do this with him, Tony. I can't.
All right. My final thought is I appreciate all of our subscribers and all the views we've been getting. We've been watching these views come in, and it's just really, really humbling experience. We truly appreciate everyone that subscribes. And well, I hope that we can take your mind off life for an hour and a half and let you relax with the boys for a little bit. Besides that, that's all we got. I say cheers. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching the Locker Room Rant.